You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is a program called The Wonderful World of Wardini Books, and it's our pleasure, as always, to have in the studio the wonderful Lou from Wardini Books in Havelock North. How you going, Lou?
I'm very well indeed. How are you doing?
Oh, I can't complain. All the better for seeing you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you've been busy at the shops.
Yes. It's November, so it is starting to ramp up for Christmas. Lots of Christmas wrapping occurring.
Yeah. Do you get excited about Christmas?
I love it.
Same here.
Yeah.
I would have it every day.
No, I'm not sure about that. I quite like the excitement, but it's nice to calm down a bit afterwards.
Anyway, we've got 3 more great books to have a look at today, and the first one is Minnie Winnie Goody 4-Shoes. I love the title alone.
I know, and look at her.
Look at that.
So this is by Stacey Gregg, New Zealand author, and Ruth Paul, New Zealand illustrator. So beautiful bit of publishing by Scholastic there. So this is the second book to feature Minnie Winnie, who is really a little bogger. She's a little pony, and she lives with all the other horses in this beautiful place that they live, and that's her best friend, who is a kitten called Bernice. And there are grown-up horses that sort of keep an eye on them. And one day they get a new horse. So the show jumpers are very excited. Yes, but what kind? It must be a big one. But the doors open and it is, ta-da! It's Goody 4-Shoes. And she's just perfect.
Look at that.
And she can do, no, that's Minnie Winnie, scruffy little pony, in her scruffy roomed stall with all her toys that are all bust up and broken. And she immediately takes a dislike to this perfect Goody 4-Shoes because, oh no, she's stuck up. But you haven't spoken to her yet, they point out. But look, she's just so perfect. So what? You know, and she tries to do what the posh new pony, Goody 4-Shoes, does and falls flat on her face and makes a bit of a fool of herself. And so everyone's amazed by this gorgeous new pony. And Minnie Winnie does what kids do. Like, she's so jealous and nasty. She sees the new girl's stall open and she goes in and like plays with all her stuff and wrecks it. She's so naughty, like really naughty.
Yeah.
And she gets told off and then she's like, oh, nobody loves me. So she decides she's going to run away. Yeah,
It's
but
just like
you know,
kids, isn't it?
It is just kids,
just like
and
kids,
that
yeah.
is what I love about these stories. Is that she's just an adorable little. You can't say
horsey kid.
Yeah, just a naughty kid. Yes, so. She eventually does make friends with the new pony because the new pony looks perfect, but she likes mucking around in the mud just as much as anybody. So they become best friends in the end, and it's a very lovely story about tolerance, I suppose, and getting to know people.
And great drawings.
They're great, aren't
Fabulous.
they? Ruth Paul's amazing. She's done lots of good stuff.
Minnie Winnie and Goody 4-Shoes.
I love it.
Too right. And the next one is a book called Olive Kitteridge.
Olive Kitteridge. This is a book by Elizabeth Strout, and I think this won the Pulitzer years ago. So it's 2008 this book came out. But recently, a book has come out called Olive Again. So it's a sequel, and it's taken Elizabeth Strout a long time to write it. And I'd never read Olive Kitteridge, so I thought, well, I must, because I like other books by Elizabeth Strout. So this one is one of those great. Olive is an amazing character, and she weaves through all the stories around this town. So it's not necessarily all about Olive, but Olive will appear in other people's stories and she will do things, and then there will be a chapter all about her. But it begins with her husband Henry, who is a pharmacist, and he loves Olive, but Olive is a complete pain in the backside, to be honest, Ken. She's one of those characters that you just think, you are really unpleasant and I don't like you. And then she will do something and you think, oh, but that's a human being. You've done something wonderful, and she makes your heart warm. But she's not necessarily loved for that. You know, she's a maths teacher at the school, and people are terrified of Mrs. Kitteridge. She's
We all had a teacher like that.
Yeah, she's a big woman, and she's grumpy and abrasive, and doesn't really give much warmth to old Henry. So it starts with him getting a new lady that works for him at the pharmacy, and there's this very big warmth between the two of them, although nothing ever happens, you know. But so it's just all these stories, and they're generally quite sad stories of people's lives, and Olive sweeping in and out of them. And it's got lots of hope and beauty in there, but a lot of sadness too. It's just a very human book.
And did it leave you uplifted at the end of it?
Yeah, loved it. I will definitely go on to Olive Again very soon. So
is that a long time between characters for a writer? 8 years?
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, so it's longer than that, isn't it? Where are we now? So that was 2008, and it's now 2019.
It's 11 years.
So, yeah,
that is a long
years.
time between characters.
It is, yeah. So, but people remember and love this book.
Yes.
So Olive Again, people have been coming and going, oh, marvellous, you know, because they want to see what this grumpy old bat has got up to this time.
Has she aged in the gap?
I don't know. I mean, she's quite old at the end of this one. Yeah, I can't tell you too much
No,
because
that's right,
that'll
it's
give
spoilers.
everything away.
And our last book we're going to look at today is Running with Sherman.
This might be my book of the year.
Really?
I know I've said
Wow,
that
must
before.
be good then.
This is Christopher McDougall, who wrote Born to Run, which was the one that he went out and found this group of, not a secret tribe, but, you know, people that live remotely in South America, the Tarahumara Indians, and they can run and run and run and run,
Yeah.
you know, on just
A
a
long
handful
time.
of chia seeds,
Yes.
you know. But this one is about, he goes out to live in, oh gosh, I want to say Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He's in rural Pennsylvania, and there's a lot of Amish community around there, and he lives with his wife and his 2 daughters, and they've got a few animals. And somebody comes to him and says, you need to come out and help me because one of the local farmers is a hoarder of animals, and you can only imagine the state that some of these animals are in. So Christopher goes out and they look at this donkey, and he's been in a stall on his own for years in the dark, and he's just stood in a corner, and his hooves have grown really long and curled
I've seen
over,
that, yep.
and he doesn't trust anybody. And the hoarder guy is not an evil person. He loves his animals, but he's got too many and he can't
Yeah.
cope with them. But anyway, so the donkey might not survive, so they get it out and they take it over to Christopher's place, and the wife and the children are on board with trying to look after this donkey, and they saw its hooves. And a donkey whisperer that they know, you know, she's really good with
Yes.
horses and donkeys, and she says, you're going to have to give him a job, he needs a purpose. The first thing that they do is they introduce him to this mad goat that they've got. I can't remember the goat's name at the moment, but the goat starts to bring this donkey out of himself, and they bond and they make friends, and then he gets other donkey friends. And Christopher McDougall, being interested in ultra sports and stuff, he's always been interested in burro racing, donkey racing, where people have a donkey and they run miles, like marathons through the
Yes.
mountains, and race with these donkeys. And he's like,
Sherman's going to be the one.
Sherman can be the one.
Yeah.
But they can't get Sherman off the property. He's terrified of everything. So it's the story of bringing Sherman back into the world, and what he does for their family and what he does for the community around them. And Christopher McDougall is an absolute genius at weaving different stories together in the way that Billy Connolly can tell a
Yes.
long rambling story and then make it all actually make sense. So he's got a friend's son who is very unwell, but Sherman gets involved with that, you know, and all these
Yes.
different bits. And again, it's one of those beautiful human stories, and I loved every word of it. He's an incredible storyteller.
Amazing how something as simple as a donkey can bring a community together.
Animals and humans, man, it's incredible. And they
it is.
teach you what it is to be kind, I think.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Do you like animals?
I love
I
them.
knew you would.
Yes. You've seen the pictures of my dog. I could
That's
bore you
right.
with my dog forever.
Yes, and you're his mum.
Yes, I am.
If you want any of these great books, where are you?
We are 16 Tomato Road in Havelock North and 44 Hastings Street in Napier.
And if you want to keep up with what's going on at your shops, how do we do that?
Website, Facebook, Instagram. And we've got an e-newsletter if anybody wants it. Just email me,
Look at that.
books@wardini.co.nz.
Good on you. As always, our pleasure, Lou. You look after yourself. We'll talk to you same time, same place next time.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ken.